guys, welcome to another video of Building Basics. This is for anyone who is a new builder or anyone wanting to improve their landscaping. And if you haven't already, make sure to check out the earlier videos I posted in this series on how to build the structure of the house, how to furnish, create a floor plan, create a nice space for your Sims, and most importantly, how to make the house functional and give the Sims what they need to survive. Or die, if that's what you want to do. That's also fine, I guess. Today we're gonna be doing landscaping. Let's jump into it. So this is the house we've been working on, our little trainer house. It's looking really nice now because it is fully furnished, fully built. We've got everything we need in here. TV, lounge space, kitchen, bedroom, ensuite. But the one thing that is missing is a garden that looks a little bit more realistic because it's kind of looking a little sparse at the moment, I'll say. Landscaping really needs a video of its own because there's quite a lot of options for it. I'm actually going to save my game because I'm filming this straight after the last one. So as you know, you can go down to the lower level, which is probably the easiest way to work on the garden, and you can turn your grid on and off. Usually I prefer to turn my grid off for landscaping because I like it to look a little more organic and less square, I suppose. But I would use the grid for any extra pathways you want to put in to know where to place those. There is another way of doing a pathway which is a little less manicured, like a footpath, and that's terrain paint. So you're going to find your landscaping tools in your build mode, typically to the right here. So we've got all our outdoor plants here, from trees, shrubs, flowers, rocks. There's also some water decor. I'm going to teach you how to build a pool and how to also build a lake. There's terrain tools. These are pretty crazy. And then your pools and fountains. So let's start off with a bit of what's called terrain tool, but we're going to do some terrain painting specifically. So that's where this little, I was about to say toothbrush, paint tool comes in handy, paintbrush. And over here we have our types of terrains. We can have grass and flowers, stones, dirt. We might do like a dirt pathway to our front door. And the way this works is you just click on the ground and move it just like this. Now, the other tools that come up is how big your brush is or how little. And also if it's square or rounded. And also how soft the brush is and how hard. So if I wanted to just paint a really obvious square, I would have it on the darkest, sharpest option. But typically I like to keep it kind of organic and natural looking, so I'm more likely to go rounded, a medium round brush. And I like to soften it, not all the way to the end, but pretty close to the end. Let's go back here and we can just put in a nice path that fades out at the edges. And this is also really nice if you want to do like some other pathways to, say, a little bin area. Maybe it goes around the tree. Yeah, it's just like painting a picture. People do paint pictures with this tool. And another thing I love to do is to select dirt and sands and actually do little dirt and sand marks under items like trees, letterboxes, lights, even a little bit under the fencing and the corners of the house, just where you'd see a little bit of soil usually in real life. So just usually see dirt under structures typically, and under bushes sometimes. Even just by doing these little dirt patches, you will realize that it starts to look so much better than it first did. And if you're not a fan of the real cartoony grass, you can also give it a little bit more of a realistic look if that's your vibe. So you can kind of go like this, and you can apply it to the whole lot if you want. There's also sand options. You can make yourself a little Zen garden with like sand, or even a sand pit you could give the illusion of. And especially depending on what world you're in, different terrains are gonna suit different places. So if you're on a beach lot, you're probably gonna wanna use the sand terrain more than somewhere like this. So yeah, that's the terrain tool for the painting. There's also an eraser tool. If you make a mistake, it'll just take it away. And then there's this, which is terrain manipulation. This is a tricky tool to use, but basically this will change your terrain by lifting it up so it can create hills. Be careful because it will affect things like fences and trees, and your Sims may struggle to get to the house because they might not be able to walk up it, and that's why it's tricky. And you can also lower the terrain. You can also use bracket keys, open and close, to make it bigger and smaller as a shortcut too. So I could lower my terrain here if I wanted to make a little bit of a pond. If I have the grid on, it's going to have some lines here to indicate depth, which can be quite handy. If I want to, I can also smooth the terrain with the smoothing tool, which means it's just a little less abrupt, you know? But you can see here my fence is dipping down, so you gotta be pretty wary with it because it can start to look pretty weird pretty quickly. And then of course there is the flattened terrain. The way this works is you click and drag from whatever level you want it to be. So if I want it to be flat, I'll click and drag it this way. If I want to level the terrain from a depth that's a lot lower, I would click and drag it down here. We also have a flattened height option. I actually don't really understand the difference. I suppose it just flattens it to the highest point. And there's also the flatten lot option, which if you do a whole heap of weird stuff, you can press that and it'll just take it back to flat surface. So that's your terrain tool. Probably the times I use this the most. Oh, what did I do just now? Look, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea why it's gray now, but it's still working. So I'll just keep playing. The main reason why I would use the terrain tool is to create a pond. So I would just kind of go like this without hitting the fence line, smooth it out a bit. And then I'd go down here to my water tool and I can actually raise the water within here. And if I turn off the grid, you can see what it looks like there. And the more I click it, the higher the water will go, or I can lower the water with the lower water tool. I can also fill to height and click a specific height, and I can also remove the water. So that's how you would make a little pond, perhaps. And you can see the map if you want to toggle that on and off. And it's a really beautiful texture. Sometimes the water can look a little man-made, I suppose, sim-made, I should say. So you can go to your outdoor water decor, and depending on what packs you have, there will be different water options. So you might want to make it a little more leafy. There's also pond objects here, so you can put some algae on it. It's a little bit temperamental with where you can place things. So a cheat I do recommend for you guys who are doing landscaping is called the Move Objects cheat. Basically what it does is it allows you to put items on top of each other. Now, if you use this cheat whilst you're building a house, you have to be careful because it does mean your Sims might not be able to use the objects. So that's why I didn't tell you guys to use it in the house building just yet. But if you'd like to try it on landscaping, you can go Control-Shift-C to bring up a cheat box. It's just above me. You would put there bb.moveObjects space on. And that's going to put it on. If you want to turn it off, you'd go bb.moveObjects off. And now you'll see I can actually put things on top of each other. And when it comes to landscaping, this cheat's good because it's not like the Sims really need to use any of this space. So it's not harmful at all to your gameplay. And it just means you can make really organic looking gardens and it just looks really good. You can also put a bog log in there. You can even go down to some effects where you can add country fish. If you went into live mode, you would actually see fish swimming around. So that's another option as well. Whilst we have this on, I'll show you guys what it does on the inside of the house. This cheat, say if I wanted to place a table, it means I can place furniture on top of furniture on top of furniture. And of course that means the Sims are not going to be able to use it and they're going to get stuck. So be careful how you use it. For now that we've done a little pond area, let's go bb.moveObjects off. So it's off now. To confirm, my tables can no longer be nailed. Nailed? What? Layered? Now I'll teach you guys how to build a pool. There is a pool and fountain tool. The pool basically means that you can drag it out like this and your Sims can hop into it and swim around. That'll increase their athletic skill. It will make them tired. If you build a fence around the pool whilst they're in it, they won't be able to get out and they will die. That's sometimes fun. Now the difference with a fountain tool, which is just down here, The fountain is a shallow body of water that your Sims can't swim in, and it can only be used on ground floor. A pool, you can technically put it on the second or third level, or fourth or fifth level, I guess. So if we do a fountain here, we can go down to our fountain trim options. We can do the same thing we did before by changing the color of the water, and you can put in things like fountain pieces that will actually make water go up during live mode. You can put in decorations and all of that jazz. So that's a little bit of fun. If we go back to our pool and we want to make just like a little mini backyard pool, I'll just drag that and you would have seen it automatically deleted a daisy bush there. You can also make custom shapes if you want to, or have these pre-made shapes. We can also do a pool trim on the outside. You can also go back over here to water decor and change the color of the pool too. If you want a murky one, you can put rose petals in it. You don't have to have a ladder, but it can be good to have one, I think. I mean, it just looks nice. Although in saying that, we don't really have that much room for it in this house. There are things like steam bubbles that can come up with this object. Decorative objects, you can put candles on top of it, which is very pretty if we go to nighttime. You can see those there. And of course, you may like to make use of these pool lights to make it look a little more inviting and less murky down there. Another thing that you can use in your pools is your wallpapers. I personally like to do darker bluish pools with nice lighting, so I can get my dark blue tile. I can also go to flooring and put in a nice flooring tile at the bottom there. And yeah, that's a really nice little pool area. Not so sure about the rose petals though. So that's the pool tool. If we go back to landscaping is actually something that I get asked about a lot because a lot of people get confident with the building, but then they're like, oh my God, my gardens look so bad. I think the best way to do gardening is actually using your terrain tool to kind of direct you where to put things. So you can just get the starter soil here, adjust the softness so it's a lot softer, not too big. And what I like to do is just make some little random organic patches of dirt, you know, just kind of random spots. And this is where I'm gonna put a little bit of greenery. So, you know, just go around and be like a little bit here, a little bit there. And maybe in the yard, we'll put a bit around here. Then if you go back to trees, maybe start off with some rocks. So just put a few little rocks around the place on your dirt patches. You don't have to put them on every dirt patch, just here and there. Then select a really basic kind of bush. I like this green fern. I always think that looks nice. And do the same thing. Place it just near your rocks or on any of the dirt patches. You can size them up and down using your bracket keys. And you'll notice here that it's starting to look kind of good. You know, just all you're doing is placing stuff on those dirt patches you made. And what it actually does is create this nice organic orientation of things. But I mean, if you wanted to do like a beautiful manicured garden, you can totally do that too. Use pathways, use hedges, go to town on that. You can use the bb.moveobjects cheat that I showed you before to layer all of these bushes and things and rocks. And then after having put down the ferns, let's pick a nice flower to put in. Maybe these dull daisies. That doesn't sound that nice. And again, I'm going to put them on our little dirt spots around here and our little clusters where we put other things. Just like that. You can rotate them to get some different angles. And then last of all, I would probably get maybe some Oopsa daisies here, or one of my other favorites, I think it's in shrubs, is this liloing pale yellow flower item. And then you can kind of rotate these and shape them to meet between the other dirt patches. Now, don't make them all meet because then it'll look like a massive daisy chain around your property or your lot, but this is a nice way to kind of connect things and make it look really full. And I honestly think one of the biggest tricks with landscaping is not to use too many different kinds of flowers and just keep repeating the same things, because usually in nature you get a lot of the same flowers repeated and things growing around you. You can also look around the world to see what trees would look good with this house. For example, I see these purple trees. I'm going to go look for that purple tree. Here's one. And I can place one of these just near my house. And you can see there, it's just kind of blending into that environment a little bit more so it doesn't look as stark. Also make use of sizing down trees as well. But see how it's now looking like it fits in? And then there's also some smaller trees you can make use of too. That you can put on some of your dirt patches as well. But you can see here now we've got quite a lush and kind of organic looking garden in my opinion. I think it looks quite good and it's a good little way to do things. If you get to a point where you can't place anything in a gap and you are not confident enough to use the move objects on sheet, you can also use these like flower squares to fill in some gaps too. Not everywhere, but they can help a little bit, especially in the little hard to reach corners. And then, yeah, last of all, just go over some of the things you've done. You added some trees, put some dirt bases underneath. Yeah, just keep working on it. But it's likely to start looking really, really nice once you just start putting repeated things down and building them up bit by bit. And then soon you'll have a gorgeous house that seamlessly blends into its environment. So yeah, that's pretty much how to build a house. That's the series. Of course, there's things I didn't teach you, such as using spandrels, building decks, foundations, even going up a level I haven't taught you guys yet. So let me know in the comments down below if there's anything you do want to learn or that you run into. But let's do a little tour of the house. I'm actually using a mod to show you guys the house in this camera mode, but if you do go into live mode, you can press the tab key to do the same thing, but usually you can't do it in build mode. So we have our little front yard here with our outdoor bin. Oh, we also have a mailbox at the front of the house, essential item. Sometimes your lots will already have mailboxes. This is our lounge room. You can see it from the other side here. Our kitchen and dining areas, very nice. We can go into our bedroom where there's some shoesies, nice yellow, simple color palette. We've got our wardrobe over there, pride flag. And then we can go through here into our bathroom where we've got our shower, basin, mirror, and toilet paper tucked under. And then we can come back through here to the kitchen. And then if we go outside, we have a gorgeous patio and pool area, barbecue, beautiful little bird box there. It's looking very lush and gorgeous. So let me know what else you would like to learn, you guys. Feel free to upload your creations to the gallery. The way you can do that is going up here to save to my library, press save lots. I'm just gonna call mine starter lot. You can add a description if you want, add hashtags. You can download mine if you want, put number of bedrooms and bathrooms. And then if you're connected to the internet, you can share the lot to the gallery. I'll just connect so it can. And yeah, people will be able to download your lot. And if you ever change your computer and accidentally delete all your Sims files, you can just download your houses again, which is handy. So my username is Deligracy. If you want to access the gallery, it's just in the top right-hand corner over here, and you can search for many different houses. If you've decided after these videos you don't want to build anymore, this is a great way to download things as well. If you go to my library, you can see the starter lot that was just shared here. Ooh, comments, exciting. You get a few pictures of that. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're on the world. I'll speak to you soon. Zack.